you'll come to the point where we come to the United States of America, and where we signed off on it. I don't know who was responsible for this, but he needs a kiss on the cheek, really. Because he or she, probably is a woman, it's probably April, I don't know. They put a caveat in the treaty, making it, they're basically saying that based on the federalism law, the law of federalism in American jurisprudence, America's laws, the individual states can opt in or opt out of this treaty. This is what I presented to our Attorney General in Utah, and the research was there. And he said, we have the right, we can say no to any vaccination if we want to. That's the key thing. Do they want to? Do they know the issues? At least in Utah, the head of our health department there, like April said, I believe he's a very good man, a good, honorable man. I don't think there's even an evil, rotten bone in his body. But he has blinders on. He's following Big Pharma to the T and lockstepping with them. When I took my files in and presented to Dr. Sunwall and his epidemiologist, who was from the CDC in Georgia, I laid it out for him. I said, look, this is a novel thing here. It's new. You got to look at this thing differently. And after we got finished, after 15 minutes of showing him the evidence, his face turned white, and he literally shook like he had Parkinson's disease. I'll bet he didn't sleep much that night or the weekend. This was the weekend before July 24th, which in Utah is a state holiday. I said to him, look, suppose everything that you believe and said is true, that vaccines stop disease state. Okay? You, as my senior medical officer in Utah, can give me a circular of an MMR vaccine, whatever, polio vaccine, DPT, tetanus, and I can tell exactly what is in that shot, right? Hey, I don't like what's in there. If I'm educated and make the right choice, I'm not going to put that toxin in my body or my children's body. But here's the key thing. You have full disclosure, and you have the right basically to opt out, as we've shown you. With this vaccine, the big problem is, I'll agree with Catherine Albright on this point, I don't know. You don't know. Nobody here knows. The head of the health department in Utah, Dr. Sunwall, didn't know. So they don't know. Why should we trust them? If I don't know something, I'm going to tell you I don't know. I'm not going to ask you to follow me to places I don't know about. See, this is the most important point. We, and I say we, naturopaths, people that are on the front lines, don't know. We haven't been told. Okay? The World Health Organization on July 13th made a proclamation. They said we're now going to allow, for the first time really, in an injected flu vaccine, live viruses and what's called oil and water adjuvant called squalene. They said that is okay. You can do that. Right there, 10,000 red flags jumped up. Squalene, folks, is more toxic than thimerosal. 140,000 reserve troops in Operation Desert Storm were given a squalene-induced vaccine as a trial, an experiment. All 140,000 got very, very ill. Many of them died. It's now called Gulf War Syndrome. Is that how we repay our veterans? Starting in 1918, the people that have taken up arms and put on the khaki are used as guinea pigs for Big Pharma. It's not right. But what they did for us is to show us how dangerous squalene is. Okay? So why is this being approved by the World Health Organization to go into a vaccine that's being forced on us, on our children, on our kids? Why? Okay, I'll leave that to you to decide. What can we do? Well, it's simple. You got to be educated yourself. You have to know the issues. Learn about squalene. Learn about live viruses, and ask the questions. Demand answers. Go to your health department in the state and inform them, like I did with the Attorney General's office. Hey, Montana, are you going to opt out of this treaty?
Yeah.
Or are you going to say, or do nothing? Do nothing, and I guarantee you it will be forced upon you. Okay? If you don't opt out and are quiet, you opt in. Action. Well, listen, I've taken enough of your time. I hope you haven't quit listening yet. Okay, I told you I would talk only as long as you would listen. Thanks so much for putting up with me and what we have to say. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate your help.